Good morning. My name is Alice Trindle, and welcome to another Tip for the Ride. This is Cougar. He's a 3.5-year-old Missouri Foxtrotter gelding, and we've been playing with Cougar here for, I don't know, the last couple of months, just a little bit, on and off. It's kind of been a little bit hit and miss. We've also already done a little work with him here in the round pen and the Lariat to get him used to things coming in and out of his eyes, being able to have things touch him on both sides of his body, and really just kind of some preparation for riding. He is under saddle, but we haven't been able to do things real consistent, so that's kind of where we are right now, is going back and checking out that everything's all okay with him. This is a little procedure that I'd recommend for anybody. If you are thinking about purchasing a new horse, this should be part of that pre-purchase exam. If you haven't been on your horse for a little while, it certainly should be part of that. And for those of us that maybe are about to go into the wintertime riding and not get to ride too much in the winter, it's a great thing to check out again in the spring. I think he's thinking I must smell pretty good. That's good. I'm liking that. As with any of my round pen work, the first thing that I have to do is make sure that I've gone through my horseman's protocol. I have to take that deep breath, make sure that I'm present, see a clear picture of what it is that I'm going to ask the horse, focus on that, picture on that, and then allow it to happen. Set it up so that he can find what my picture is. The last and most critical part, what Susan kind of calls the magic, is the release, the reward, saying attaboy. I always kind of remember that these things can break down real easily into two words, and those words are please and thank you. If you say the word please, you take in that nice deep breath. If you're asking for something, you probably have a clear picture of what it is that you want. And lastly, when you say thank you, it's hard to hold your breath and kind of keep things all kind of tense. Well, let's get started with a little Lariat work here with him. Again, I want to remember that I need to have a good, safe environment. I could use either a round pen or a square pen. This one happens to be about a 50-foot round pen. In other words, from the center out is about 25 feet. I want to have a Lariat that will reach completely across that. So this is about a 60-foot Lariat here. And lastly, I want to think about spending some time with my Lariat long before I get to this spot, so that I'm very comfortable with its use. And it also needs to be a nice flexible Lariat. I use an extra soft triple X soft nylon rope, and as you can see here, it's pretty flexible, kind of like a good rag. I also like the metal hondo in that it allows for a nice release. But you want to be careful when you're using a metal hondo, is that it has quite a bit of weight to it. So if you're using it just to send out or to twirl, that you don't want to hit them in the eye or really hit them with it too much at all, because it's a pretty heavy obstacle. Now I could go ahead and put the Lariat on the saddle horn, which is really kind of my mobile post. It allows me to be able to work the horse around me here real nice without interfering on his face whatsoever. And I could go ahead and just rope that saddle horn as he's moving on around, but Cougar's being really nice right here. I think I'll just be not necessarily lazy, but just kind of take advantage here just a little and go ahead and put it right onto the saddle horn, and then we'll get started with some maneuvers. One nice thing about Cougar is that he's been here a few times before. He's pretty convinced that the pigs that are just across the road still live there. And so I think he'll be a nice demonstration for you on how we're going to use this Lariat to get his eyes and his ears, and also to sensitize him to things coming in and out of his vision, as we mentioned before, and being able to touch him on all parts of the body. I'm going to see a nice clear picture here and send him off around me to my left. Note here on where I'm going to have the coils so that they can kind of fall off my hand. Now I'm going to go ahead and interfere just a bit and see if I can give him the direction that I'd like him to go. The coils should lie in my hand so that they will just float off of my fingers. If I had them over here in this hand, you can easily see that I could get kind of mixed up in the rope if he took off. So I want to turn those coils over so that they will float off of my fingertips. First thing we'll try playing here a little bit is a little jump rope. Notice that I'm still sending him forward with my body language. My belt buckle, my energy is driving that stirrup, that cinch on up around me as I just kind of go forward and backwards with the jump rope here a little. I'll let it drag just a little. And that all looks pretty good to me. We'll try it at a little bit faster pace and see how that goes. Forward, backwards. I'm going to take a moment and throw that energy on my lead rope out over his bottom there a little. And again, just let him kind of wear that on his hocks. I'm going to interrupt here a little bit on him, hold on that eye, lift up on the stirrup a little bit until he gets down into a more correct walk rather than that kind of a pace that we don't really want. Now I could work this a little bit so that it could come up underneath his tail a little and see how it'd be there. I like how he's yielding very nicely and not getting upset about that. That looks really good. Now let's see about changing direction. I first have to have a clear picture of how he could change direction there towards the outside wall. In doing that, he has to pick up a slight bend to, in this case, out to his right, and he has to step those hindquarters a little bit towards me. He has to displace that outside right hind foot in underneath his belly just a little bit, and then follow the flow on out. In order to do that, I might be able to help him here just a little bit by a little suggestion on my lariat, a little suggestion that he bring that hindquarter a bit towards me. I'm going to prepare my body ahead of time so that I'm all ready to be able to accept that energy as he goes away from me. So the first idea here, besides seeing my picture, is turn my coils over 1/2 turn. I'll now run down and find my lariat, or you might kind of call it my lead rope, making sure that my thumb is up out of the way here, that I don't have my thumb around it, but rather up and around so that I'm training myself to be able to go to the dally one day and dally up around my saddle horn. I'm going to see this picture as I head off here a little bit to my left. I'll draw his hind end in underneath and then push the eye on through to the outside. That was just right. Whatever I check out on one side, I want to check out on the other. So let's see how he is about the lead rope on this side, the lariat jumping rope over here. We'll put that up into a little bit faster tempo. I'm going to kind of interrupt there because that's not a real pretty, it's not a foxtrot, it's not anything that we really want. So I'm just going to hold on his eye, lift up on the stirrup there just a little bit till I get a downward transition. Then we'll go back to work. That's a perfect opportunity to be able to see if I could move that stirrup. He's doing awful good here. I'm going to see in my mind's eye to throw that slack to the outside. That worked really nice. Continue with forward motion. Change direction. Expect the dog's helping me just a little bit to get that outside eye. First, see the picture. Second, turn my coils over 1/2 turn. Third, put a feel on that lead rope. draw the hip to me, and push the eye on back through. Then I'm going to throw my slack right there. Now Cougar's doing awfully good today, and I can kind of start now playing a few other games with him because I feel pretty comfortable about having the lead under his tail and around his hocks, and I feel pretty comfortable about being in this position. I'm going to play a little game here with him as if I had two long lines on. I'm going to see if I could put a feel on his left eye and draw that eye into the middle there, just a little like that. Turn my coils over. Now put a little feel on this other and see if he could change direction there nicely. And throw my slack to the other side. Envision in your mind right now that I have him on long lines. I'm going to put a feel on this right eye and see if he could kind of come in here to the middle a little more. See if he could follow my body language. There it comes, right there. Turn my coils over. Deep breath. Now put a little feel on his left hip and his left eye and see if he could come on through here. He's being pretty mellow. And it sure is nice to see him so nice and calm like this. Drawing the eye. In a few minutes here, when we get Lynn on board and she'll be doing exactly the same thing, you'll see how this practice here in the round pen really pays off. Nice. Good. I'm going to change my idea here. Roll him back that way. Now see if he could, nope. Waiting to see if he could, maybe could face up to me here. Because one day, maybe Lynn will go help somebody with some, at a branding. And he's going to get to hold a calf right there. Good, excellent. I'm going to see if she can kind of disseminate here between when I'm inviting him to come and when I'm inviting him to hold. Just asking him to hold right there. Good. I might one day have to doctor a calf down here and he might have to hold there just a little bit. That's not a bad deal at all. Now I'll change my intention here a little bit. See if he could follow that feel right on around in case we had to do this here. And he could just follow that. That's very nice. Little turn on the haunch. Very good. We'll turn the coils over. We'll try that little feel on this other side over here. See if he could follow that suggestion. That's real nice. Let's see if you could try that again. Not put your nose up quite so much. I really like how he's putting that softness into this rein. That's a good deal. Waiting for the hindquarters to free up there just a little bit. And kind of lost him. There they go. That's what I needed. Thank you. Good man. With everything, he gets a nice reward. You'll notice that I didn't stop during that whole engagement to pet him, but every time he did the correct movement, there was an attitude in my mind which just said, "Attaboy, thank you for giving me what the picture was that I saw." It just couldn't hardly have been any better. He's there just licking his lips. As I go in to take this off, I want to remember that I'm always going to keep my lariat, my snake here, between me and the horse. I don't want to get in a spot like this where he takes off and then I'm kind of in the middle of my garbage mess here, where I could get caught up in that lariat snake. I'll keep it between me and the horse. We'll go ahead and take this off. And I think that's just about right for today. That's a good start. Couple of things again, good reminders. One, make sure you spend some time with this Lariat and get very comfortable with it. Could you use like a 22-foot ring rope? Yep, you could do that as well. But make sure you're comfortable with your tools. Last, or second, make sure that you are going through your horseman's protocol. Give yourself that time to take a deep breath, become present, and just relax about being here in your environment and being with the horse. See a clear picture. Set that picture up and focus on it. Allow the horse to find it. And then most importantly, give a good reward at the end. That reward can be right here in your mind, your attitude. Thank you. Good job, Cougar. So until next time, hope to see you at one of our clinics. I hope you enjoy these tips for the ride. This is Alice Trindle, signing off.